So, Amanda.
Well, I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy to be here because it's everything that we imagined and it's everything we hoped for. And when we set out on this project and we won the competition, what I loved about the whole idea was that this is an investment in the future, investment in students who aren't even yet here. And how do we find that balance between history and modernity? How do we find the balance between a building that is aspirational but feels welcoming and accessible? And that's the whole kind of nature of the programme here. And I think it feels really settled in this place, and the kind of relationship with the 17th century founder buildings. It feels right. There's a kind of warmth and that it reflects the buildings, and the tree and nature is all part of it.
I mean, as you know, one thing we wanted to avoid was pastiche. We didn't want a sort of Jacobean castle.
Like some of your neighbours.
Like some of our neighbours, who shall remain nameless. We wanted something that expressed confidence in modernity, confidence in the 21st century, but which also fitted. And this has landed very gracefully. It almost floats. It's quite extraordinary the way something as clean and modern as this blends so well with these little medieval cottages, with this Jacobean masterpiece over here, with that house over there, which some people say was designed by Wren, but probably wasn't. And then these old medieval buildings. I mean, it's just extraordinary the way it blends, it fits, it belongs here. It's wonderful.
I think it's so important, particularly for students, for young people, that this building is a statement of confidence in the future.
Exactly.
I mean, it's got to be about going forward, about openness, about transparency, about welcome, that you can feel the kind of buzz inside the building, that you have fantastic views when you're inside.
And I love the way you come through the quadrangle, through that little quite narrow archway, and the back quad opens up and you look to your left and there's this wonderful soaring structure here. It's just fabulous.
You know, when we first started working on the project, it was quite daunting because of the history, because of the kind of gravitas of the college and the architecture. But it was really important to inject this sense of joy and modernity, and to make connections between the different parts of the college. So, you know, and these two buildings really are a kind of pivot point, if you like. And we always kind of describe them as sort of brother and sister, because it's two separate buildings that are adjoined, but each must have its own expression, but at the same time they must sit very well together and have a common language. And that kind of that equilibrium, I think, is it's a triumph. They belong together, actually. When you enter the Access Centre, I mean, it's a wonderful, uplifting space, but you don't feel intimidated. And that's what we worked really hard to do, because I think for a lot of prospective students, the whole Oxford experience is intimidating enough. And it's important in terms of the scale, the materials, the volumes, that it feels uplifting but welcoming and cosy. This is something they'll recognise when they come here. I mean, as you say, a lot of the other buildings around us can be quite intimidating. They're quite fortress-like. You walk along the street in Oxford and you see these huge fortress-like gateways, and you come in and you expect to be surrounded by crenulations and towers and chapels and libraries, and you are, and that's a beautiful and important part of our college. But then you come through and you see this, and I think they'll be comfortable here. And I think this sense of transparency is so important. You know, modern technology gives us the opportunity to have these vast, open views, vistas, and it's not just about looking out at this fantastic kind of architectural context, but it's about looking in. So the William Dew Undergraduate Centre, this building here, is going to be such a wonderful space for our students, and they love it already. And as lockdown eases and we can open it up fully, it's going to be a glorious place for them, somewhere where they can work, somewhere where they can study, somewhere they can socialise. They'll have their parties here, and all the while looking out over these wonderful gardens and buildings. And the views from inside the Undergraduate Centre are just fabulous. But I mean, you know, the social spaces in the university are so important, because that is where you meet friends and collaborators for life, and that's where ideas are exchanged, and that's why a building like the William Do is so important, because people will remember their experience of university not just by the academic prowess and their achievements, but by the friends that they make.
Yeah, and the Lee Shau Key building behind us, which is going to house our Access Centre. This is the place where the school pupils will come, those who are aspiring to come to Oxford, sometimes from very difficult backgrounds and difficult socioeconomic backgrounds, and they're coming to Oxford, and we wanted a building which they'd feel comfortable in, which was not intimidating, but which would also inspire them. And I think you've caught that spirit really well. It's transparent, it's graceful, it's inspiring, and I think it'll be a wonderful space for them to occupy while they're discovering what Oxford could mean for them.
And I think for us it was, can we design a place that is, they're going to call this home for the 4 days that they're here, exploring the idea, getting a sense that, they can belong here, and they do belong here, and that's what we tried to capture in the very design of the building.
Well, thank you. We love it.
Well, thank you. What a wonderful commission. Thank you.
Thank you.